All right, we continue with our improv version of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pre-Game show. Everything is on Zoom because obviously of the weather situation over the holidays. So everybody's in their air quotes home studios. I'm joined by the founder of 26 Shirts and one of the founding members of Bill's Mafia as well. Good pal Del Reid. I love the gear, my friend. Let's just start right there, man.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, no, it's we have a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of fun
Well,
with it.
show it off. Pull. We can
Yeah,
only see half of it. Look at
yeah.
that.
So
Yes, sir.
we did this in partnership with the team
Sure.
last April, I think it was. And our creative director Josh is just a wizard. And he had this idea to take the goat head logo and make it look like actual fur, like an actual buffalo head. So actual goat head, I guess. But so he crushed it. He crushes everything. So it was fun to do that.
Do you know who coined the term goat head? Because I mean, it's literally wrong. Like it's blatantly wrong. Like the goat should be probably well, actually, the bison or the buffalo should be upset that his head is being called the goat head, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always been that, right? Since
I
like
know, but
when did they unveil it? Like 97? Was it 96, 97 that they unveiled it at the Yard? I remember we all went there. It was like a free event. Everybody could go and they unveiled it. They had like lights shining on the ice and everything. And it wasn't that long afterwards where people started saying goat head. So
yeah, yeah,
it's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a zeitgeist kind of thing. It's just like everybody knows it. It's all just part of
yeah,
the vernacular.
yeah. I get it. Anyway, it's interesting that we are playing the Bengals this week because a lot of what has become this remarkably generous, over the top, city of good neighbor charitable movement started with Andy Dalton in 2017 and his touchdown pass to Boyd to get the Bills in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy, and yeah, it is crazy, and even that, like, if you want to dial it back a few years earlier, Stevie Johnson's breakout game, the game before he dropped the touchdown pass against the Steelers, was against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. It was the first away game I ever went to. The
Oh,
Why So Serious game, yeah. So the Bills have a long, storied like history with the Bengals, more so than other teams. Like the Bears, like they play the Bears now and then, and like the Vikings, they play the Vikings now and then. But the Bengals, like there's such a unique history between the two teams.
yeah, it's a cool one. And if you ever go to Jim Kelly's golf tournament, like Anthony Munoz is there every year. That's kind of interesting that way. As Boomer Esiason's a big fan of
Mm-hmm.
Jim's, and he's around. And Icky Woods has been to Jim's golf tournament, which is kind of fun to see.
It's amazing. Icky Woods, it's amazing. Nobody has lived a rookie year because he was a 1 year wonder pretty much. Like he tore his ACL or did something to his knee like his second year, I think. Like that was just his rookie year that he had in '88, and he's done pretty well for himself. I'm pretty sure he's still the king of Cincinnati, even still. I'm pretty sure he's. I don't think he pays for drinks or dinner there.
Yeah, probably not. All he has to do is like 5 seconds of the Icky shuffle, and he's good. Um, well, let's talk before we get into actual football. Let's talk a little bit about for people that don't know you and your story. And I know you've told it on my separate podcast before, obviously. Um, but tell the folks, how you got into what became Bill's Mafia and 26 Shirts and how they sort of coexist and don't really anymore, but you're still involved and all of that.
Yeah, so in 2011, I made a joke teasing it. Actually, it's a long story, but I made a joke. I called us a bunch of us who had gotten blocked by Adam Schefter after that drop game against the Steelers when Stevie Johnson went on Twitter and kind of questioned God. A bunch of us teased Adam Schefter for retweeting it a day later. We got blocked, and then in April that next year in 2011, I called us the Bills Mafia, and it was just like a one-off tweet. Like if you look at my Twitter account, I've got like 100 something thousand tweets. It's just like one random tweet that I put out there, and it just over time it just kind of like snowballed, and I wasn't trying to start anything. The people I was making jokes with about it, we weren't trying to start anything. Breon and Leslie and everybody else associated with that, and it just kind of took off. And so we had this opportunity to do something positive with it. We had this large growing social media audience, and it's kind of the story's been written from there. It just grew and grew and grew. We used to be a group of people on Twitter who were Bills fans that were made fun of by other Bills fans. eventually became the de facto name of the fan base. The team adopted it a couple of years ago, and it's just been a crazy ride. And in the midst of that, I had this idea to, with this growing audience, to help people through different ways that I could find. We do tailgates, we do these different things. Then I had this idea to do a 1-year project to sell a different shirt every couple of weeks. 52 divided by 2 is 26. It was only going to be 26 different shirt designs, and that was going to be it. But fate had a different idea, I guess, and it took off, and was never expecting this to be like my full-time vocation with, employees and all that. But here we are. So it's kind of, it's crazy. So it's kind of, they're very much intertwined. Obviously, 26 shirts doesn't happen without the notoriety of Bill's Mafia and everything, but it's also its own separate thing.
I know you've generated 7 figures in your short run here as 26 shirts, which is really impressive, helping out causes all around Western New York. And it's every different kind of cause you could possibly imagine, right?
Yeah. We tend to skew more towards, medical based and family emergencies and stuff like that. And we've helped a bunch of nonprofits, over the years as well. And there's a few different nonprofits that we help regularly regular products we have available all the time. But really in this past year or so, we've really focused on getting back to supporting these individual families. There's such a great need with, so many, kids dealing with cancers and, just people dealing with all kinds of different situations, not just kids. Everybody's dealing with these terrible medical situations. And like I said, family emergencies like a house fire, or we helped one family whose house was pretty much like swallowed up by a sinkhole in Amherst. So it's just so many things that you don't plan for. We really want the stuff that we do, since it's representing the community on the chest, with different designs about the teams and the city itself. We wanted to actually give back to that same community at the same time.
And it does not get old, does it?
No, it doesn't. It gets stressful sometimes. Like every holiday season, I was joking with one of our newer employees. I said, "Don't worry. Like, remember how you used to look forward to Christmas? Like, now you're going to start to dread it because you look at it as a deadline. Like, we only have this many days to get this stuff out." But no, but it doesn't get old. It never gets old.
What do you know? What shirt you're on at this point?
Well, right now we're in volume 12. Now we do actually 2 volumes in a year as opposed to 1, just because the demand was so great. But I mean, in terms of like the number of shirts we've done,
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Hundreds. So are you like, I was like, but you don't know like what number you're at. Are you at number like 386 right now, or like we don't have a count here?
No. In terms of our volume shirts, it's like 280 something or 290 something. But we do so many special editions. Like on Wednesdays, we'll do a new design, which is a little bit more niche, typically. Or then we'll bring back old designs in the past. So are you counting the number of designs? Or are you counting the number of campaigns we've done? I don't know. It's a blur, man. We've been doing this for over 9 years now. Yeah. We just try to make sure that we don't put out crap. That's it doesn't matter how many we put out, but as long as none of it was crap, we do our best.
How often are you overruled, or are you the final say?
No, I mean, I guess I am the final say, but at the same time, like, I also know that I'm not an expert, and my opinion, just because I like something, doesn't mean that it's the best idea at the time. So I've got a really great team, really creative team, and everybody has an equal voice, because I value them to provide that input and to, iron sharpens iron, right? So sometimes I have great ideas and they're like, "Yo, that idea is terrible." I'm like, "All right, that's fine. I get it." So like, I'm not everybody I hire. I'm not good. I don't like to say I'm not really good at anything, but I'm really good at finding people who are better at stuff than I am. So I've got a great team. I'm really thankful for them.
Yeah, I try and do that too. I think that's a great way to operate.
And if they're better at it than you are, then you're never going to be tempted to step in and do their job, because you're not going to do as good a job as they are. So
that's right.
You have to. It forces you to delegate.
That's right. Beautiful thing. So there's that. So there's 26 shirts. There's Bill's Mafia, which is, it's ridiculous. I mean, if we watched the Bears game, you saw the guy he was completely shirtless, kind of had a little belly on him, and he wrote Bill's Mafia on his 12 pack. It's not quite a 6-pack. Maybe it was more like a case, whatever. But it's like nuts, man. And you have to be incredibly proud of what it's become. And more importantly, because of the charitable arm that's sort of come off of it, and just the sort of the spirit of the fan base, which the Bills fan base has always been, we all know this, has always been fantastic. one of the best in the league, clearly. But I don't think at any point has it been as generous as it has been really in the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, right? Because we're a very generous community. I mean, growing up, I remember driving past like an American Legion or a fire hall or whatever. There's always a benefit going on for a different family. So
Right.
I'm careful not to take too much credit for that stuff because I didn't create social media, right? I didn't create the ability to share these ideas with thousands of people. So it really is just our community has been exposed. I guess we've always been this way, but now we have a social media platform that we can organize. We can, show off, I guess, what we're doing and
Yeah.
everything too. It gets some notoriety. But yeah, I mean, the whole Bills Mafia thing, it never stops being surreal being at the stadium and hearing them say, Bills Mafia, we need you to be loud on third down or whatever it is. But really there's that part of it. But really the thing I am most proud about is, like you mentioned, just the charitable, you know, things that have been done in the name of Bills Mafia. I mean, that's something that can never be taken away. Those donations can never, it can never be taken away. And the effect that as Bills fans en masse, our crazy fandom for this team, how it has affected people in real life in crappy situations. So that's what I'm most proud of by far.
And we know that Bills Mafia travels very well. We see it pretty much on every road game. If you're not there, you see it on TV or you see it on social media. You've certainly experienced it many times. I mean, for the people that have never gone on a road trip from Buffalo to a road game, talk about, the collection of Bills Mafia and how they always seem to, largely in part because of social media, gather in the same spots. Like I did go to the Jacksonville playoff game. I will say that. And that was remarkable. I mean, my history that I worked with and for the Bills for a very long time. So I never really went as a fan. And that was one of my first sort of fan experiences, being at that Jacksonville road game. And just to see, I don't know, there had to be 10,000 people in a parking lot, all Bills fans. It was insane. You've been to different stadiums around the league with members of Bills Mafia. I mean, for the people that have never gone and only can relate to it from what they've seen and read and heard, I mean, put words to it.
Well, it's like a giant family reunion, right? So like you meet all these because in these days of social media, you interact with so many other fans that you never expect to actually meet, and because they're either on the other side of the country or other side of the city sometimes, right? Because we're all doing our lives, but like people from all over who share your fanhood, it's like a big family reunion. So like you said, typically everybody converges on the same bar or whatever the night before, and it's really cool. You just get to meet people like, oh my gosh, you're like Joe Blow 1 2 3 4 5 on Twitter. That's amazing. I've talked to you for 10 years. So it's a lot of fun. And when you walk into the stadium, when you're wearing your Bills jersey and you're, walking into, M&T Stadium in Baltimore or whatever it is they call it in Jacksonville, TIAA, whatever it is, the Jacksonville Stadium,
right.
Or wherever.
Worst fans in the league stadium. Yes.
I actually know a bunch of Jags fans. They do love their team. I give them credit, but you walk in, your chest is just puffed out a little bit more with pride than it would be anywhere else you go. You walk in like kind of like you own the place a little bit. Like you're just so proud to represent your team. And it's a lot of fun. So.
Well, it's funny because I did have that feeling when I walked into that stadium at that Jacksonville playoff game. I felt I was talking so much smack. I was so confident. I was like, this is how you do a tailgate, Jacksonville. I know you're all college football fans. You're not really pro football fans. You don't know how to do this. Just take a lesson. Come on. You can buy our DVD after this about how to do this or our manual, whatever. And then, of course, we lose. So it wasn't like leaving the stadium really sucked.
Dude, Blake Bortles was running left and right in that game. Like he had the game of his life. At least I think they went to the AFC Championship. They beat the Steelers the next week. So at least we didn't go out like punks,
Yeah.
Like, at least they got within sniffing distance of the Super Bowl, I guess. But,
That's right. That's right. All right. So what do you think of our team and what do you think of this game on Monday night? Obviously, I mean, the 1 seed is out there, right? And we're looking at 2 of the hottest teams in the league right now. 7 straight Cincinnati, 6 straight Bills. Cincinnati is really streaking, and the Bills are kind of doing what people expect them to do and win, but they're just not flashy about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the matchup. And in some ways, I wish I wasn't a fan of either of these teams. It's such a great matchup. I'd love to be able to just watch it from like, with no rooting interest because I'm going to miss out on a lot of great drama and everything because I'm going to be living through it. I guess maybe that doesn't make sense, but like, it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. And I was talking to my father-in-law about this the other day. We all pick apart the Bills and like, oh, they could have done this better, they could have done that better, they started slow, blah blah blah. But like, I don't watch every other team in the league through the microscope that I watch the Bills. I just look at the pretty much I watch some highlights and
Yeah.
I'll see the score like, oh, they beat the Bears 35-13. I guess they're pretty good. They beat them by 22, but like we're sitting here complaining about left and right about these different things, right? Um so I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a big game. I mean, all the games are going to matter now. I mean, if they can win and the Chiefs lose, hopefully they can rest a bunch of their guys against the Patriots because they're pretty banged up. They've been doing all right so far on the injury report, but these guys are sore. But the high stakes they begin now, right? I mean, I really do. Like if they don't win this game, it's going to be a really tough path to get that one seed if they're able to even pull it off. They're going to need help. So it's a great test. It's a great way to start. The playoff mindset where a couple weeks if they don't win, they go home. So um, I'm really excited about it. I'm just crazy nervous because of course I am, but I have a lot of faith in our Allen and our Allen in our team and Josh Allen. He was our Allen. He is
Yeah,
our Allen.
kind of is.
But in Josh Allen and our team.
What kind of a fan are you?
Like in terms of like how do I watch the game and
Yeah, I
everything?
mean, so
Or
my neighbor across the street, I won't name names, but he is easily the most intense fan I've ever seen. Like every play, he's either yeah or oh or like making all these kind of grunting and groaning noises, and you feel like he's going to pull a muscle at some point doing something. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's so into it. And then there's the people that are sort of, it's almost background, but they're still watching and they're fans. So obviously, I'm assuming you're somewhere in the middle.
I lean a lot closer to the former than I do the latter. It's a lot of yelling. I mean, I don't get to the point where like I try not to let it like affect my mood. Like I'll get frustrated, but like I don't like if the game's over and the team loses, I'm not like in a grouchy mood with the kids or like anything like that. I've always joked that they don't have the team does not sports in general does not have that permission to affect my life in real life. But yeah, no, I get pretty vocal and in the moment get pretty angry and frustrated or loud and yelling and screaming, go, 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 stuff like that. So we gotta have that release, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the one time you gotta let it out. I can't imagine just watching it like I watch any other team on a Monday night football game with isn't
Right.
the Bills, like just watching it, kind of observing it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that with my team.
Yeah, for sure. Anything lucky that you wear, or do you change it up every week? And I know some people are superstitious that way.
I'm not superstitious.
This is
I'm
a
really
family
not.
show, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not superstitious. I'm not. I don't believe in jinxes. I always, I'll tweet stuff sometimes, and people will say like, "Oh, you're gonna jinx them," and I'll say, "Listen, if this Twitter account could control what that team does, they'd have 10 plus Lombardi trophies at this point."
Right.
But that said, there's always that thing in the back of your mind, and so I do have a couple different pairs of Captain America socks, which I wear most. So I wear that the most often is my Captain America socks. I don't know how that started. I think it was during like the 2019 season. Might have been during 2020, but like just like I became aware like, oh, I keep wearing these and they're doing all right. So I guess that's what he would say. Like I try to wear my Captain America socks during for a game. Not always like, so if somebody catches me wearing something else, it's not like I'm not diehard about it, but like I always have a good vibe. I always feel a little bit better when I'm got Captain America on my ankles.
All right. Well, typically, when we do our show in our studio, that helmet that I'm pointing to is on our set, and when they win, it faces a particular way, and it's faced that particular way, and it's facing that way now because they beat the Bears last week. So, call me superstitious, I guess.
Hey, what's that old beer commercial say? It's only crazy if it doesn't work.
That's
So
right. That's right. All right. So very quickly, couple last things. What's your score prediction for the game?
Um, I'm not really good at like exact score predictions, but I think it's going to be high scoring on both sides, and I think the Bills at the end will have more points than the Bengals. So if you want to score, I'll say, 38-35 Buffalo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's Monday Night Football. It's prime time.
Right.
I think there's gonna be a lot of points. No disrespect to the Bills defense. There's a lot going on there with that Cincinnati offense. So
it'll be 9-7.
Hey, if the Bills have 9, that's fine.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then please let folks know how to be a part of what you do.
Yeah, just look me up on Twitter at Del Reid, at 26 Shirts on all the different platforms and everything. And take a look at 26shirts.com. Maybe we have something you like. Maybe you read about a family that we're helping. Maybe you think the shirt sucks. That's fine. We'll normally have a link to the GoFundMe for the family if you just want to support them directly too. And
you can also say the shirt sucks. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, last thing. We have typically on the show, we do a segment where it's Mafia members. So it's, just regular fans or friends or whoever that are Bills fans. And at the end of it, we do these trivia questions. Then if the group gets them all right, they win gift certificates to Sorrentino's over on Main Street. So this week, because of the setup, because everyone's apart, we're doing a trivia question like every segment. So now the trivia question is this, and I'm not going to tell you the answer because people have to wait through the break to find out the answer on the other side. But I'm willing to give you a shot at this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you are Bills Mafia, for God's sake.
No pressure now, right?
No, zero. And these questions always have to do with whatever the team the Bills are playing that week, and it's sort of Bills-Bengals related somehow. Like this. Here's the question. What two former Bengal quarterbacks later became Bills coaches? One, a quarterback coach, the other, the offensive coordinator. And when these two people were with the Bills, it was in the mid-2000s, the first decade of.
Sam Weish under Mike Mularkey was one, right?
You're right.
All right. And the other one, well,
2 years as the OC. No, 1 year as the OC. I beg your pardon.
Yeah. Sam Weish was one of my favorite coaches, that not a Bills coach. So when he was actually on the Bills staff, that was pretty cool. I thought that was cool. So Sam Weish, and then they were both in the mid-2000s, you said?
Yes.
And now I'm going through all the different quarterbacks.
He was an OC, but he didn't play a lot with. He was a backup. I think he backed up Esiason in Cincinnati.
Esiason.
I think so. Or might have been Kenny Anderson, but somewhere in between there.
Yeah, So I guess
it's tough. I'm telling you, this
one. I knew Sam Weish. That was an automatic. I knew that one. The other one, I'm trying to think of the mid 2000s.
All right. Well, you will have to tune into the show, and when your segment is over, and watch through the commercials to find out who the other person is. Okay.
I might just Google it, but I'll tune in the show
because you're too impatient. Listen. I don't blame you one bit. I would have done the same damn thing. Del, great seeing you, man. Happy holidays. Have a great new year. Continued success with everything you're doing. You're one of the great champions of just people, period.
Well,
and of course of the Bills in Western New York. So keep it up, man.
Yeah, those are kind words. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And, thanks for all the support you've always thrown, our way. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you.
It's been a long time. We've been trying to get you on the show for a while, so I'm glad we could do it. Happy New Year. There's Del Reid from 26 Shirts and one of the originators of Bills Mafia on the show. More as we get Jared back in here and talk about this Bills-Bengals game after this on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.